he did move away to Jersey. Died a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah. He died young. He died when he was about 65.
But Norman, a good friend?
Well, Norman was another good friend, but not as close as Pee Wee. We were always together.
Did you keep in touch with him over the years?
I did for a while, but not. And then we lost touch. But there was a woman and a man in our church, elderly couple, who were related to him. I guess an aunt or something to him, and she used to keep me advised of how he was doing. Told me when he got married, and told me about his kids, and told me when he died.
Hmm.
But other than that, we didn't keep in touch. Once he came back here, when we were in our 50s maybe, and he and I and a couple other guys went to Yankee Stadium, saw a ball game together, and then he went back to Jersey. We lost touch again.
Hmm. And so Aunt Alice was your best friend growing up? Did you have
Yes.
others? Anybody else as close, or was she the
She was the closest.
closest? Yeah.
Then she had a cousin, Jenny and Joan, cousins, and we kind of hung around together
Right. And you were all the
through school.
pretty much the same age?
Yes,
Yeah.
they were 9 months younger than I was.
Mm-hmm.
But I turned 5 in January, and Alice would only be 5 in September.
I hope you turned 5 in February, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about it. Couldn't start school. I could have started school,
Yeah.
Right.
but my mother held me back, so I would go with Alice.
Go with her. Oh, that's good. And what did you collect things when you were a kid? Did you have like a collection of anything?
Paper dolls.
Paper dolls was your big thing. You remember that pretty vividly. And so does that explain why you have collected dolls later in your life?
Dolls, yeah.
There you go.
I always liked dolls. I always got a doll for Christmas.
What about you, Dad? Did you collect anything?
Collected posters of Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and baseball bats of the New York Yankees or pennants, Yankee pennants and stuff like that. Haven't got any of it anymore. They're all gone.
No doubt.
That's all I collected.
And so did you get to go to Yankee games as a kid?
I went, we used to, again, Pee Wee and I, we used to go out and cut lawns and do things and make money, and then take a train into Penn Station, take a subway from Penn Station up to 180th Street or wherever the Yankee Stadium was. It was about a 2-hour subway ride. Go to the games. We were young. I wonder we didn't get mugged or killed, but I guess it wasn't that bad at that time. We went to games at least 3 or 4 times a year. We would go a season. We would go see Yankees play. And strangely enough, because he was a Giant fan, never went to the Polo Grounds.
Never went to the Polo Grounds. Did you go to any other stadiums other than Yankee Stadium?
We went to Ebbets Field
Ebbets
once.
Field.
Yeah.
Okay. And who do you remember most? I mean, who was your favorite?
Well,
growing up?
it was favorite was Joe DiMaggio. He was the big number at that time.
Yeah.
But I saw in some of the games, the pitchers, Red Ralph and Red Ruffing. Monty Pearson pitched a no-hitter one time when we went there he was pitching against Bob Feller, who was a real star for Cleveland, and he pitched a no-hitter. It went 14 innings, and we were at that game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
It was a good
14
time.
inning no hitter.
Yeah.
He pitched the
Yeah.
whole game.
Yeah.
Wow. It's unheard of.
Hmm.
And Mom, during the summer when school was out, when you were a kid, what kinds of things would you do when you were home during the summer?
We would play, dress up, and teacher, school. We would play school all the time, and then Alice's house. She had a sidewalk going around her house, and we would put our feet in water and then go along the sidewalk and follow each other's footprints. And she would say, "Why does your footprint look like that?" I had flat feet, so I had more of a footprint than she had. She had that big arch.
Arch,
So it was, So she would always make fun of my footprints. And then we would play ice cream store. We would make with mud with water and mud and no television and how to make we would play ball on the street. Not many cars.
No. Did you have did you have chores to do as well? I mean, was there kind of a rigid set of chores, or
No,
nothing that
I
you
was-
remember in that way? You were privileged. You're pretty
Yes.
privileged. Big house, no chores.
Yeah.
Wow.
Spoiled.
My mother. Yeah. Then, of course, when I was 13, I went to work. Alice's family had, quite a bit of money, and we didn't have it, and I still wanted all those nice school clothes, so my mother said, well, you'll have to go to work. So I went down to Diamond's department store and got myself a job as a sales clerk
And where was Diamond's department store?
on the corner of John and Wellwood.
The
Still-
building is still there,
The
right?
building is still there,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, the department store meaning it sold clothes and shoes.
Yes.
Mostly
and-
just kind of that kind of stuff, or what
yes,
else would it have
clothes
sold?
and shoes,
Pretty much just
dry goods.
Dry
not,
goods.
Not materials, regular
right.
clothes. So I worked there and earned
At
money.
13, starting at 13.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got money. So, so I was lucky. So I don't know if it was lucky. I don't know why, but I never had to do anything at home.
Yeah. And,
So I
and you worked there
worked-
all year long, or
I
just
worked
the
after
summer thing?
no, I worked after school, and I worked on Saturdays because at that time there was no Sunday work.
Right.
So I worked Saturdays and then after school. But I still, had school activities. I don't know how I did both, but I did. I
What
was
school
involved
activities?
in, cheerleading
Mm.
and school plays, and so you had rehearsals after
Sure.
that. And I belonged to different clubs that were in school. But when I was young, we were mostly, running around, playing on the farm, and
Riding the cows.
riding the horse. And they had a horse just to pull a plow and pull a wagon. So the farmer told us, Uncle Herman told us that the horse needed exercise. So he wanted us to ride it up and down the street. So of course Alice was in the front with the reins, and I'm in back of her, and we're walking along, and there's all trees along the side of the road, and she ducks, and I didn't, and I got whacked in the head. I almost fell off the horse, but so that was fun. And swimming, of course, in the summer.
Where would you go?
Down at,
Swim?
well, we went a lot down to the pond, Fellas Pond.
Oh, okay.
And then sometimes we went to Lake Ronkonkoma. Alex would drive us over there. And so my mother was afraid of water. And so Lulu said, oh, you got to come with us sometimes. You got to see how well she swims. She's a water rat. She loves the water. We have to yell for her to come out. You got to come with us someday. All right, my mother said, all right, I'll go. So one day she went. So they said, so she saw me swim, and they said, come on, just stand down by the edge of the water. Just, hot day, just get your feet, just go up to your knees, get your feet. She panicked, and she fell down, and she couldn't get up. And the lifeguard thought she was fooling around, and she wasn't. She just couldn't get up. So we were all yelling that. Well, she finally got up, but
Wow.
needless to say, she never went in the water again.
Wow.
But she said, the bathtub's deep enough for me.
Wow.
But I was lucky that I had that friend and, took me to the movies. And because my father worked late, he would leave early in the morning and worked late hours,
Mm-hmm.
night, and then he got home, he was tired. He wasn't a well man.
Hmm.
And so I was lucky that they took me with them, because Alice was an only child.
Hmm.
So we went to the movies, and we went to the lake, Ronkonkoma. I even went into the city one time with them to a Broadway show, my first Broadway show. So,
Which show? Do you remember?
Gaslight.
Gaslight?
Mhm.
And what about you, Dad? When during the summertime you mentioned you went and milked cows, was that
Well, that was, when I was old enough to do that, I was, I guess, 15, 16, which when I went up to the farm. I used to make lawn signs, lawn signs. I had, every Christmas I used to get a woodworking power tool. I get a lathe one year, a jigsaw another year, and so I had all those tools in the cellar. So I could cut out letters in plywood, and I made the back strip with little jagged edges, and I paint and varnish it, and I would put the person's name on it and sell it to people in town. And do you want to buy? I'd take a sample. You want to buy a lawn sign with your name on it? I can remember that one person. The first one that bought the sign, the name was Hingerton. All those letters, and I was selling them for $1. I would rather find a name of Jones, But I sold a lot of them, and kept busy doing that. And
did you ever work for someone as a young kid?
yeah, I worked on a fruit and vegetable truck, probably 3 or 4 summers. We used to have trucks that went around the village that didn't have the supermarkets, of course. So you'd have fresh fruits and vegetables. The guy would go in the city to the market in the morning and pick up stuff. And he had a truck, so I used to sit on the tailgate of the truck, and he would go around and I'd carry the stuff into to ladies in the house that they needed, and I'd go in and get me some potatoes, and get me this, get me that, and I'd make it up, take it in, take the money, give the money to the guy. And that was probably 3 or 4 summers I did that. I remember that, I kept busy. There was enough to do.
When I started working, it was 50 cents an hour.
50 cents an hour.
You were doing good. I got $2.50 a week.
A week, yeah. And did you guys have vacations that you went on as a family ever? Was that something that families did back then, to kind of go on a summer vacation somewhere?
We had a spot out in Wildwood State Park. They used to rent out for the season. They would rent out parts of the park that you could have a tent, and so my mother and my sister and I would go out. Father would take us out there like on a Sunday, and we'd stay all week. And then on the weekend, he would come after work. He would come out like Friday night and stay for the weekend. And we stayed out there for maybe 4 weeks during the summer. And of course they had a nice beach there and a nice park and all kinds of good stuff there. So that was the only vacation we had. And best part of that is Aunt Eunice used to take us out in her car, which had a rumble seat, so we went out in a rumble seat all the way out to Wildwood State Park. That was a big trip in those days. Still a big trip, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Oh, I don't remember going on vacation. The only one thing I remember going out to Sag Harbor, one of my mother's sisters lived out there, and my father took us out, and we stayed for a week, and then he would come pick us up for the weekend, and then I guess one time I stayed, a couple of weeks out there, but other than that, my father worked very hard, and he worked weekends as a waiter.
Where did he work?
Bologna John's
Bologna John's. Where was Bologna John's?
on 38th Street.
It was a
Right.
restaurant and a bar. Right.
Yeah, he could walk that a
Yeah.
couple blocks.
Yeah.
He worked as a waiter, bartender, and
You said he wasn't a well man. What did he suffer from?
ulcers,
Ulcers.
bleeding ulcers.
That explains a lot of my own conditions then. That's good. Bleeding ulcers. What did they have?
Yeah.
Were they able to treat things like that back then?
Yeah, they had. He was operated on quite
Really?
a few times,
Mm.
but each time he was operated on, it affected his heart. His heart became enlarged, so
Mm.
finally died. I think he was 61, 62, 62 years old when he finally died of a heart attack. But
Mm.
that was from being sick all those years and just having an enlarged heart. they don't know the things that they know now.
Right.
But I think that was from a lot of stress too, probably ulcers, I think.
Sure.
You get ulcers from.
And how old was Grandma when she passed? 80,
5.
85?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She died in 1983, and she was 85.
yeah.
And she lived here for about 7 to 8 years with us.
That I remember very well.
Mm.
That I remember well. And Nana died when she was. Nana Tanner died.
92.
2?
Was she 92? Wow. And she died in what year? I don't remember now.
96.
We were in
Yeah,
Colorado.
96
so-
because she was born in 1904. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And when did Grandpa Tanner die?
Died in 1960.
How did he die?
Had cancer.
Cancer.
Had cancer.
Did he?
Had
Was it a
for
long ordeal?
He had it for about a year, and he didn't do any chemo or anything like that. He got it, and he just stayed with it and died.
Yeah. Did they have things like chemo?
I guess they
Yeah.
had treatments.
Treatments, but
Not
he
sophisticated.
said he couldn't tolerate it.
He
Yeah.
just
Didn't want to do
didn't
it.
want to do it.
So in high school, Mom, you were valedictorian of your class.
Yes.
Is that right? Wow. So school was pretty easy for you then.
Well,
No?
I know he's going to say something, so I'll say it first. I was a business major,
A business major, okay.
and
Well, you're working in a department store, so there you go.
right. And I really don't think it was fair because my subjects I thought, were easier than, chemistry
Right.
and algebra, and I took business arithmetic, but, it wasn't fair to I don't think it's fair to lump everybody together like that. I was valedictorian of my business course, but I don't think I was valedictorian of my whole class of 80, 90 kids.
And what
But I
about,
took it. I said, thank you very much. And coincidentally, my girlfriend Alice was salutatorian. We were just a few points difference.
did she take the same course load as you, or was she taking
Yes.
harder classes?
All the same class.
Oh.
Yes, all the same classes. We studied together.
Mm.
We knew
On
the
tests,
same,
they sat next to each other, I'm sure.
and we knew the same answers, or we knew the same wrong answers, so that
Did they always
even if
suspect you
they
of cheating?
split us, they couldn't.